name's Maria Sangali, and I'm going to be doing a speech over is graffiti art or vandalism? To start off, in our modern world, some people view the art of graffiti as an expression of individuals' creations, while others may see graffiti as destruction of property. As you can see, like, people don't see eye to eye on this argument. So in many different cases, graffiti acts as a beautiful self-expression that stands out. So when you're driving down the street and you see a big old mural on the side of the road on a building, somebody has put in a lot of work, to make sure that that is seen, putting their expression out there. So starting off, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the graffiti history. Graffiti actually originated 1,000 years ago. It was first seen in like cave paintings and inscriptions on side of buildings. They were seen in like Egypt, Greece, and the Roman Empire. They made it so many years, 1,000 years ago, thousands of years ago. That's pretty far away. Graffiti itself stemming from the Italian word graffatio, meaning scratched. My insight on that is kind of you're scratching these buildings kind of, and putting your expression out there so that people can like get your point of view of what you're trying to express through your graffiti art. The first person that made like a statement through graffiti was back in 1965. I'm pretty sure that was the year he was most noticed, was Daryl Cornbread McRae. He's widely known for the first modern graffiti art as the first modern graffiti artist, 12 years old, and he loved cornbread. He just would kind of put cornbread, the word, and say legends of legends. It was just kind of like an inside joke to him because of his love for cornbread. He used to ask many of the places he stayed if they would make him cornbread. So I think it was just kind of him expressing something through his childhood. Graffiti, it's what started as a way for bored kids to pass the time, grew into like a movement larger than anyone could possibly have imagined. Graffiti is all over the world, not even just in the United States. So it's definitely made history. Next, I'll be talking about that graffiti takes technical skills. Graffiti is not simple. A great deal of talent is required to create artwork. Graffiti is not an exception. Like, it's not just something easy that they do. It's definitely as hard as it is to do any type of artwork, This requires a great deal of strategic planning and real imagination to pull it off correctly, as well as clear understanding of color and composition. Graffiti is not just symbols and shapes. The mix of colors is the huge reason why so many people enjoy staring at art on these buildings and in these alleyways, on trains. Creativity takes courage. Graffiti is no less artistic than any other form of art and should be legally applied in different areas in the cities. Like, this should be permitted to be a graffiti area, and like, of course, people should know like places they shouldn't that are private or like public property that is off limits. Exemplifying freedom of expression through graffiti is a very important thing. Art ceases to be art without the freedom of expression, and graffiti exercises this right as well. So just like I said before, graffiti is just as important as any type of art, as in like music or poetry or paintings or anything like that. Taking creativity to the streets means that artists don't need to worry about critics or potential buyers looking at their art and putting their opinion out there. It can be created anonymously if they choose, just like paintings or music can be released anonymously and people can buy them, and there's still ways of people like getting the money to the person without knowing who they are. Graffiti is the same way, but it's more anonymous than I would say a lot of other ways of art are, because you do it when nobody else is really looking. Sometimes you are being watched when you do it, so people do know who you are, and I guess at that point you don't really care if people know that you did it. And lastly, I'm going to be talking about what is vandalism and how does it really relate to graffiti. Vandalism involves damaging public or private property, which is often associated with graffiti because it ties back to marketing and defacing of like areas of property or of the city without permission. Different styles of graffiti can be used on public walls and trains so that they look good, but at the same time are not vandalizing property that belongs to people. They are public property. People ride them, people write on them. So putting a mural on there of something that you're expressing, I guess, wouldn't be seen as vandalism in these parts. Many people believe that graffiti should not be done illegally in areas, and graffiti should be publicly visible to all people so it's not destroying any property. So if you're just putting it in a spot where nobody can see it, then it's more like vandalizing a property because you're not really letting your word get out there for people to see and to, take in the view of their own. So in conclusion, the biggest takeaway about graffiti is that its beauty and creativity, it should never be a reason to cause harm to someone or anyone's property. History shows that graffiti has been around for over thousands of years and it still is visible today, which is crazy. Graffiti is simple and it isn't simple and it doesn't take as much skill as any other artist form, but it is important to have those skills. Graffiti artists express their freedoms of expression through their art of graffiti. And vandalism can be very similar to graffiti in many people's eyes, but they are very different. They are done in the proper and morally correct way.